I never expected a fishing trip to change anything between us. It was supposed to be a quiet weekend, just me and Cole, my stepbrother. We'd done this a few times before, always under the pretense of getting away from it all. But this time, something felt different before we even left the city. Cole was the kind of man people notice. Tall, broad-shouldered, and impossibly confident, the type who filled every room without trying. We'd become stepbrothers in our late teens when my mom married his dad. By then, we were practically grown. We never lived under the same roof, but family holidays and summer gatherings bonded us over the years. I always told myself it was admiration. I'd watch him laugh with his easy charm, his rugged good looks accentuated by that ever-present stubble, and I'd swallow the ache in my chest, pretending it was something else. Now we were both in our late 20s, both dealing with life's heavier moments. I'd just gotten out of a long-term relationship with a man who slowly, methodically unraveled me until there was nothing left but doubt. And Cole? Well, he never said much, but I'd noticed the strain in his voice when he mentioned his girlfriend. Her name never came up without a sigh attached. The cabin we rented sat beside a quiet lake, surrounded by pine and solitude. A single dock stretched into the still water, and the silence was broken only by the occasional call of a loon. It was perfect, isolated, private, the kind of place where thoughts got louder. We unpacked our gear in silence, a comfortable one. He tossed me a beer, and I caught it, nodding in thanks. The sun hung low in the sky, bathing everything in a soft, golden hue. Cole pulled off his hoodie, revealing a snug black tank top that clung to him in all the ways I tried not to notice. "So, you seeing anyone?" he asked casually, cracking open his bottle. I almost laughed. "Define seeing." He smirked, those sharp blue eyes flicking to me. "Complicated, huh?" "That's generous," I muttered, taking a sip. "He wasn't good for me. I stayed too long. Thought I could fix it." Cole nodded, thoughtful. "Yeah. I get that." That surprised me. He didn't usually talk like that, personal, real. Most of our conversations stuck to safe topics: work, sports, movies. I glanced at him. "You and Ava still solid?" He shrugged. "We've been off for a while now. I just haven't told anyone. You know how it is. You wake up one day and realize you're living next to someone, not with them." Something shifted in the air between us. Vulnerability sat heavy in his voice, and I didn't know what to say to it. So I nodded and we clinked bottles. Later, we fished from the dock as the sky deepened into navy. Neither of us caught anything, but that wasn't the point. The rhythm of casting and reeling in silence soothed something in me. I watched the way Cole's muscles moved under his shirt, the way he bit his lower lip in concentration, the way his eyes softened when he was out here, away from everything. It had always been like this, these stolen moments of quiet longing I buried deep under the label of family. "Ever wonder what it'd be like if things had gone differently?" he asked suddenly. My heart stuttered. "Like what?" He reeled in slowly. "Life. Choices. People. Sometimes I think we all got shoved into roles too early." I didn't know what to say, so I just let the silence hold us. He looked out over the water, his expression unreadable. When we finally called it a night, the cabin was dark and quiet. We moved around each other in the small space, brushing shoulders, exchanging low laughs about how terrible our fishing luck was. Cole peeled off his shirt, tossing it into a pile on the floor before heading to the bathroom. I stood there, watching the door close behind him, pulse pounding. I could hear the water running. I could see his t-shirt still crumpled on the wooden floor. And I could feel that old ache rising, the one I tried to bury every time we met. When he came out, his hair was damp, and he wore only flannel pajama pants that hung low on his hip. He looked at me and paused. "You okay?" he asked, tilting his head. I cleared my throat. "Yeah. Just tired." We climbed into our separate beds. The cabin only had one bedroom, 2 single beds separated by a narrow aisle. I stared at the ceiling, every inch of my skin buzzing with unspoken tension. I could hear him breathing, slow and steady. And I knew he wasn't asleep either. "Thanks for inviting me," I said into the dark. "Anytime," he replied. "It's good being with you." A pause. "You always felt more like a brother than anyone else," he added. "But different, too. I don't know how to explain it." My breath caught. I turned toward him, but it was too dark to see his face. "It's okay," I said. "I think I get it. And maybe I did. Or maybe I just wanted to." But I fell asleep that night with a single, dangerous thought on repeat in my mind. What if he wants more? The next morning, the lake was wrapped in fog, its surface still and silver like glass. Cole was already on the dock when I woke, barefoot, shirtless, and cradling a cup of coffee like it held all the answers. His breath came out in soft clouds. I hesitated in the doorway, watching him. There was a heaviness in his posture, like his body was carrying something he hadn't decided how to say yet. I grabbed my hoodie and stepped out into the cold. "Sleep okay?" I asked. He didn't look at me. Barely. We stood in silence, sipping coffee and listening to the distant rustle of trees. When he finally spoke, his voice was low and deliberate. "You ever feel like you're pretending so hard, you forget who you actually are?" I didn't answer right away. I didn't want to interrupt whatever was cracking open inside him. "I've been with Ava for 3 years," he said, eyes locked on the water. "But lately, when she touches me, it's like I'm not there. Like I'm playing the part of her boyfriend and forgetting all the lines." I sat down beside him, close enough to feel the heat radiating off his skin. "I've been pretending for a long time too," I admitted. "Just differently." He glanced at me then. Not a quick glance, a full, lingering look that made my throat go dry. "You ever want to stop pretending?" he asked. "Yes," I said too quickly. "All the time." Cole nodded slowly, as if I'd confirmed something he'd been afraid to name. He ran a hand through his hair and let out a breath. "I've been thinking about that night at your place, 2 years ago, your birthday." I froze. That night had haunted me. A drunken party, too much whiskey, and a dance that went too long, too close. His hand had lingered on my waist. We'd locked eyes in the hallway and said nothing, but I remembered the pulse between us. "You remember?" I said carefully. "Yeah," he said. "I haven't stopped." The tension between us tightened, thin as wire and just as sharp. I looked away, toward the trees, toward anything that would keep me from drowning in the hope that was starting to bloom. "I don't want to mess things up," I said. "You're with someone. And we're stepbrothers," he interrupted, smirking. I nodded. "I've been using that as an excuse for years," he muttered. "It's not blood. It's fear." He stood abruptly and walked back toward the cabin, then paused at the door. "You coming?" Inside, the mood shifted. We didn't speak much as we made breakfast, eggs and toast done in silence. But something new sat between us, something neither of us had the courage to name yet. By afternoon, the sun had burned off the fog. We took the canoe out onto the lake, the world around us peaceful and golden. Cole paddled while I sat at the bow, feet dangling over the edge. "I've always envied how comfortable you are with yourself," he said suddenly. "You never pretended." "That's not true," I said. "I pretended not to want you. 4 years." He stopped paddling. The boat drifted. "Say that again," he said quietly. I turned to face him. "I've wanted you. I still do. But I'm not asking you to want me back." His jaw tightened. He looked away. "You're not asking, but I already do." Those words hung between us, heavy and electric. We stayed on the water until the sun dipped low, casting fire across the lake. When we got back to shore, neither of us said much. We knew we'd passed a threshold, and there was no undoing it. That night, after dinner and too many drinks, we sat on the couch, knees touching, silence blooming. "I keep telling myself this is just confusion," he said. "That I'm lonely. That I'm drunk. But it's not just that, is it?" I shook my head. "No. It's not." He turned to me, eyes searching. What happens if we cross the line? We already have, I said softly. We just haven't admitted it out loud. The air between us changed, no longer charged with uncertainty, but with decision. I could feel his breath on my cheek. Our faces were inches apart. His eyes flicked to my lips, then back up. Then he kissed me. It was tentative at first, a question more than an answer. But I didn't hesitate. I kissed him back, slow and certain, like I'd been waiting for this moment my whole life. When we pulled away, he looked shaken. Alive, but shaken. We can't do this, he whispered. I know, I said. But neither of us moved. And the part of me that used to fear this, his rejection, his denial, the collapse of everything we'd built, was gone. Now, I only feared what would happen if we didn't see it through. The kiss should have ended it. Should have been the climax of the confusion, a mistake we could both pretend hadn't happened. But it didn't end anything. Cole pulled back, eyes wide and lips parted, and for a second I thought he'd bolt. Instead, he sat frozen, staring at me like he didn't recognize the man sitting across from him. Did that feel real to you? He asked, voice low, almost hoarse. It felt like the first honest thing either of us has done all weekend, I replied. He exhaled shakily. This isn't just about being curious. I've kissed curious before. That wasn't it. I nodded, heart thudding like it was trying to claw its way out of my chest. So what was it? His eyes locked with mine. It was me wanting you. The silence after that was deafening. He stood up and paced across the room, raking his fingers through his hair. This is insane. Ava's probably texting me right now. She's been trying to fix us. And I'm here with you. Then go, I said. The words burned. Go call her. Pretend this didn't happen. Keep pretending like you have been. He stopped cold. Turned to face me. Don't do that. I'm not doing anything, Cole. You kissed me. You looked me in the eye and said you wanted me. I didn't make this happen alone. His mouth twitched, frustration and desire warring on his face. You think I don't know that? You think I haven't been thinking about you for years, hating myself for it? Then why now? I asked, standing too, finally matching his energy. Why here? Why do this if it's going to tear you apart afterward? He walked straight up to me. Close. Too close. Because for once, he said, voice shaking, I want to do something for me. Not for her. Not for our parents. Just me. And then he kissed me again. Harder this time, desperate, like he was trying to make up for every moment he denied himself. I didn't resist. I couldn't. We stumbled back onto the couch, hands everywhere, mouths clashing and pulling. The years of silence between us evaporated in an instant. Every brush of his fingers against my skin was a confession. Every moan, every breath, every shiver was an answer to a question we never dared ask. His body was solid, warm, real, and when he pulled off his shirt and pressed against me, I realized I'd imagined this 100 times but never like this. Never with this much tenderness tangled in the hunger. You sure? I asked against his neck. He paused, breath heavy, eyes locked on mine. No, he said. But I want it anyway. We didn't rush. We didn't pretend. We undressed each other slowly, reverently, like we were unwrapping something fragile. I memorized every scar on his body, every tremble, every moment his breath caught when my hand found new ground. When we came together, it wasn't just physical. It was release. Not just from lust, but from restraint, from fear, from all the years we'd swallowed the truth. And afterward, we didn't speak. We lay there in the quiet, side by side, not touching. Not because we didn't want to, but because the weight of what had just happened needed space to breathe. Cole broke the silence first. She's going to hate me, he whispered. I turned my head. She might. But she also deserves the truth. He stared at the ceiling. I've never cheated before. I always told myself I wasn't that guy. You weren't, I said. Until now. That stung, but I didn't take it back. The truth was a bitter companion tonight. I didn't just cheat on her, he said. I crossed a line with you. A big one. I sat up, grabbing the blanket off the back of the couch. I don't regret what happened, Cole. But I also know what it means. I'm not going to pretend this was some harmless experiment. You made a choice. I know, he said. And I don't regret it either. That's the worst part. He looked at me then, really looked at me, and there was something in his eyes I hadn't seen before. Not confusion. Not lust. Longing. I don't know where this goes, he admitted. I don't know if I'm ready to figure it out. But I know I want to. I nodded, heart pounding. That's enough. For now. We sat there, the two of us tangled in a mess we'd made with full knowledge of what it cost. But I'd never felt more alive. More seen. More chosen. And even though guilt crept in like smoke under the door, I knew one thing with absolute clarity. We had crossed a line. There was no going back. We didn't speak much the next morning. Cole woke before me, dressed, and sat outside with his coffee. I watched him through the window, his back rigid, fingers drumming the mug, his jaw set like he was bracing for impact. The quiet wasn't peaceful anymore. It was heavy, almost punishing. I pulled on my hoodie and stepped outside, the chill biting at my skin. He didn't look up. Want me to leave? I asked. His lips parted, but the words took time. No. I just don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything, I said. But don't sit here pretending like it didn't mean anything. He looked at me then, eyes tired. That's the thing. It meant too much. That's the problem. A sharp silence settled between us. She called, he said eventually. Ava. I didn't answer. I just watched the phone ring. You gonna tell her? I have to, he muttered. She doesn't deserve the lie. There was something in his tone, not regret for what he'd done, but for the truth that was about to unravel the life he'd built. I sat down beside him, careful not to touch. I know what this looks like from the outside, I said. Infidelity. Dysfunction. Confusion. But it doesn't feel wrong, Cole. That's the worst part, isn't it? That it felt right. He swallowed hard. You think this goes anywhere? Us. I don't know, I said. But I know I want it to. He looked over. Even if it means being the guy who helped someone cheat? That's on you, I said calmly. You made that choice. I didn't lie to anyone. I didn't betray anyone's trust. His face tightened. You think I'm a bad person. I think you're a person who did a selfish thing, I said. But maybe for the first time, you did it for the right reason. He exhaled through his nose, staring out at the lake. I can't go back to pretending. Then don't. But what happens now? He asked. Do we sneak around? Do we tell people our families? Jesus, what would your mom say? I smiled faintly. Probably nothing. She'd be too stunned to speak. That earned a short laugh, the first of the day. But it faded quickly. I don't want to hide, he said, softer. I'm tired of hiding. Then be honest with her, I said. And be honest with yourself. He stood, pacing a little, full of restless energy. This isn't just about a weekend. It's everything. My identity, my life, my future. I've spent my entire adult life doing what I thought I was supposed to. And now it's like, I don't even recognize the man I was trying to be. I stood too, facing him. Then maybe that man wasn't really you. Maybe this is. He looked at me, and I saw it, not just desire or guilt, but something else. Hope. Later that day, we packed in silence, moving around each other with new awareness. The intimacy hadn't faded, but it had sobered. We were no longer wrapped in a fantasy. We were standing in the wreckage of a choice, trying to figure out what came next. Before we got into the car, he stopped me. I'm going to tell her, he said. And I don't know what that means for you and me, but I'm not running from it. I need to face it. Good, I said, forcing a smile. That's the right thing to do. He opened the driver's side door, then hesitated. You want to ride back with me? I thought about it. No, I said. I think I need to take my own car. I need space. So do you. He nodded. Yeah. Okay. We didn't kiss goodbye. No dramatic moment, no whispered promises. Just a long, searching look before he climbed into his truck and drove off, kicking gravel behind him. I watched him disappear down the narrow road, heart hammering like I'd just survived something and had no idea what was left. It wasn't a love story with clean edges. It was messy, complicated, reckless, but it was real. It mattered. A week later, I got a text from him. I told her. She cried. Then she thanked me for being honest. We're done. I'm terrified, but I don't regret it. I stared at the message for a long time before replying. You don't have to know what's next. You just have to know what you want. There was a long pause before the reply came. I want you. And suddenly, everything we'd risked, every lie, every moment of guilt, every terrifying unknown, felt worth it. Because for the first time in either of our lives, we weren't hiding anymore. We were finally choosing each other.